What's up, folks? How is it going? This is Avijit here, and welcome to Devops Challenge Hub. Let's start with today's interview question. And today we are starting with EKS, okay? And we'll discuss a couple of questions on EKS. And next couple of days we'll continue on EKS. The first question is, what is Amazon EKS and how it is different from self-managed Kubernetes? So, what is Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service and how it is different from self-managed Kubernetes? So Amazon EKS is a Elastic Kubernetes service, and it's a fully managed Kubernetes service by AWS. So this handles Kubernetes control plane, automatic patching, update, high availability, and integration with Amazon IAM, VPC, etc. So it has a tight integration because Amazon handles everything. So what is the difference between EKS and self-managed? Here, Amazon EKS control plane is managed by AWS, but self-managed, we manage it, right? And Amazon EKS, all the scaling, etc., it's a built-in. Automatically, scaling will be taken care. But self-managed, we need to handle. And security, it's integrated with IAM. But for self-managed, we need to handle, configure role-based access policy manually. Upgrade, patch, upgrade, etc. Amazon handles it. Self-managed, we need to manually patch it. Cost, we have to pay for control plane plus nodes. And self-managed, we need to pay only for the nodes, but it will have high operation cost because we have to manage it, patch it, or everything. That will need some effort, right? So that effort has to be paid for. So that is the difference. So AWS case is a Amazon managed, so patching, etc., control plane, scaling. Those are the advantages. Security with IAM and self-managed Kubernetes. You have to handle rule-based access control, install managed control plane, manual scaling. You have to then pay only for nodes. So they are the differences. What are the components of EKS architecture? In EKS, what are the components are there? First thing is EKS control plane, manages etcd, scheduler, and API server. Then we have worker nodes, ECS or forget, which runs the workloads, where the actual job will be running or task will be running. That's the worker node. EC2 or forget. Forget is serverless. We have seen in ECS also, serverless computing infrastructure from Amazon. Node groups, group of EC2 or forget. It's a group of EC2 or forgets. VPC subnet, network layer for cluster. Then we have IAM role, authentication permission. Then we have kubectl AWS ops, CLS access to cluster, and we have also load balancer. So mainly the other things, EKS, worker node, node group, VPC subnet for networking layer, IAM roles, kubectl and AWS auth and load balancer. So they are the main components for there in EKS architecture. What is EKS control plane and what does AWS manage? EKS control plane, AWS manages API server, etcd key value store, scheduler and controller, and high availability across availability zone. So these are the four things it manages: API server, key value store, that is etcd, scheduler and controller, and high availability across different availability zone, and also automatic scaling and packaging. So these are the things AWS manages. And we manage worker nodes and workloads. For EKS, we will manage worker nodes and workloads. How do you create configure EKS cluster? So EKS cluster, how do we configure? Create and configure. So AWS from AWS console UI, we can go and create the cluster. Or EKS Cattle or EKS we can use. From command line, we can create the cluster EKS Cattle. EKS Cattle create a cluster. EKS create cluster, name my cluster, region, which region, how many nodes you need. Node type is T3 medium, right? It will manage. So for the other things, you need to pass, and from command line also you can create. So from console or command line, or using cloud formation and Terraform. That is also possible. Infrastructure with infrastructure as a code. You can that you also can do that. So through you can go through UI, you can go through command line, or you can through Terraform or cloud formation. You can do that. What are the EKS node groups and how do you manage them? What are the node groups and how do you manage them? So node group is like a collection of worker nodes. Collection of worker nodes. That is a group of EC2 instance registered as a worker node. So which this worker node where you will host pods defines this for particular node group will define instance types, billing policy, separate workload for what's development. Or you can have, like for example, you can have multiple node groups like in a cluster. One is a GPU node group, other one is a spot one. GPU is a high power nation, right? And here you can run some AI load workload or some video processing, video transcoding workload. Spot is a cheaper one. On demand, or you can even. So these are the defined node group. And GPU will have a lot of GPU servers. Spot, you can have many spot instances. Only one you can have many on demand is a two instances. So group of node groups and where the worker nodes will be there. So that's the EKS node groups. What are the difference between managed node group and self-managed node group? So managed node group and self-managed node group, what are the difference? Managed node group, for example, EC2 is a managed node group. AWS takes care. It's easy mode, like on the patching of the operating system, right? Like in the self-management, you have to bother about that launch and configuration, install and configure Kubernetes agent, right? Kubelet, networking and security group, OS app update patch, all these things. Auto scaling you have to take care. But in AWS managed node group, EC2 just mentioned that I need the 3 million, right? And this many. So automatically AWS will take care all the patching and then kubelet or configuration, etc. So automatically provision configure worker nodes, EC2 instance, handles updates patches to the operating system, manages the node cycle, adding new nodes as needed, integrates seamlessly with auto-scaling group. So AWS does that for you, manage node group. And self, you just need to choose your instance and type and size, set minimum maximum number of nodes, configure basic networking settings. So these are the things you do. But rest of the things AWS take care. Self-management, everything you have to do. But what are the benefits? Complete control over the node configuration. Can use custom AMIs. If you want to use custom Amazon machine image, so that you can do. Well, you need basically have more control, but you have more train also, right? So choose a managed node group if you are listening to Kubernetes EKS and you want AWS to handle everything automatically. You prefer simplicity over customization, and you are okay with some limitation in configuration. Self-managed means you need some specific configuration. You want to use your own AMI, you have complex network configuration, so you can go for self-managed. Otherwise, go for managed. How do you configure kubectl to work with EKS? So you have to configure kubectl to work with EKS. So yeah, AWS EKS, you just update the kube config. They also update the kube config. Then it enable you to use kubectl integrate with the EKS. Then you can call kubectl get nodes, kubectl get pod. What are the different ways to access EKS cluster? EKS cluster you can access from the command line kubectl. I am authenticated control who can access EKS. AWS console UI. From UI you can access. If your EKS cluster in the private subnet, so then you need to have a jump server or bastion host. So in your VPC in the public subnet, you will have a jump server. So from outside, you will jump into that server in the public subnet bastion host. From there, you will connect to the. You will do EKS. You can run command from a command line from there inside EKS cluster that is running on VPC private subnet. And then you can have IAM rules for service account for secure pod level access to AWS service. Your pod may want to access some service, S3 service from AWS service. So for that, you have your service account, IAM rules for service account, and role-based access control to restrict cluster access. So now let's go to the quiz section. You can pause the video and try to answer. What does Amazon EKS manage for you? Worker knows only this, Kubernetes control. So answer is Kubernetes control plane, API server, etc. XDB, so it's manages. In EKS architecture, what is the role of worker nodes? The role of the worker nodes is to run user workload or pod. Answer is C. Which tool provides the simplest way to create EKS cluster quickly? If you want to create EKS cluster quickly, EKS-CTL, EKS-CTL you can use to quickly create EKS cluster. What does AWS EKS update Q config 2. It basically adds cluster credentials to your Q config. EKS cluster credential, it will add to your Q config. Then you will be able to run that Q config, kubectl. What is the main difference between managed node and self-managed nodes in EKS? Managed node and self-managed node. So managed node, AWS handle lifecycle and upgrade for managed node. Answer is C. What does EKS control plane include? Control plane include API server, etcd, scheduler, controller. Which of the following is not a valid way to access EKS cluster? AWS controller authenticator is equal to this. SSH authenticator, SSH into control plane is not the valid way to access EKS cluster. What is the purpose of EKS node 2? Purpose of EKS run group is to run instances, is it to forget instances to run workload. What are the benefits of using managed node 2? Benefit is AWS node replacement and upgrade. AWS handles node replacement and upgrade. AWS manage, so we don't need to do anything. AWS will manage the node replacement and upgrade. Which of the following is a best practice for accessing AWS service securely from EKS pods? Securely from EKS pods. We need IAM rules for service account, IRSA. That is the best way to access AWS service from secure pods. So that's it for today. Hope you like this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can also comment and let me know how you are finding these videos. And also follow Devops Challenge LinkedIn page. I post quiz contest daily and you can participate in that. And please follow my WhatsApp channel, Devops Challenge Hub. And I post quiz contest regular updates. And thank you for watching this video. See you again in the next video.